Okay, guys, I'm on. Of course, everything was fine until the very last minute, and then there was a change. So I made it on, almost didn't make it. I'm hoping whoever was there waiting comes back. Hello, I made it on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Doctors Wilbert and Gloria Scott Purposeful Living. I'm going to try to wait for just maybe a minute. I know some may have tried to get on, and hopefully they'll come back. Unbelievable. You know how that works. You try something, and all of a sudden something else weird was coming up. But I'm hoping that some of the other folks can come back. At least, hello. Yeah, sorry. I thought I was getting on for 7 and ended up late. So, but I'm hoping some of the ones I know that were trying to get on can get back on. At least I'm hoping so. But I'm trying to give just a minute. If not, I'll get started before long. But hello, Veronica. Hello. And I see Kim. She's trying to get on the laptop. She's on the phone. Thank you so much. I'm waiting for some others to get on too. I had a glitch. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, really? The moment I'm trying to get on, there's a glitch. But I'm really excited about this. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hi. I'm excited about this though. So I'm hoping we can have some more come on. I know people can see in the replay, but I like to get live interaction also. So I'm hoping I'm hoping the fact that I was a few minutes late didn't deter some of the people that I knew were waiting to get on. But we shall see. We have a few more. Hey, whoever's coming on, if you don't mind, hey, drop a hi or a hello so I know you're here. And that would be great. Just drop a little hi or hello, and we'll get started shortly. I'm so glad to see a couple of my sisters in the chat. That's cool. That's really cool. Because we're going to talk about some great things this evening. There we go. There we go. So we're waiting for just hopefully a few more. We're not going to be long. We're not going to wait around long. But I know some were trying to get on. I was a few minutes late because of a little glitch in the system. So I hope they can come back on. That would be great. That would be really cool. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. But you know what, you guys? I know we have a few more that are coming on. Oh, we have someone else coming on. I'm just excited that we get to talk about 2023, right? And some of the dreams and desires that we have, and some things that we'd like to accomplish. I think that would really be cool. And we're also going to talk about maybe some of the things that stop us from getting those things done. Sometimes we can have the best intentions, right? And so many things happen and we don't get things done, but we're going to talk about some of those things. And that's why I'm just saying hello and thank you all for giving the comments so I know you're there. And hello, I know we have a few more that came on. Could you give us just a little hello in the chat so we know you're there? Right? I was a few minutes late, had a little glitch in the system. So that's why I'm kind of trying to let a few more of the people that I knew wanted to come on get on before we start getting into the meat of things. But yeah, it is good to see everyone. It sure is. It sure is. And let me see. Let's see. And I'm just testing this out to see. Okay, great. And okay. Well, I know we have a few more coming on, but hello, hello. We're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. And oh, hello. Hello. Great. I'm glad you all were able to get on. I was a little late. That's why I'm trying my best to just wait just a couple of minutes. I had a glitch getting on. So that's why I was trying to hold off before getting in. But hello, everyone. And look, this is 2023. And I know some people are going to be like, okay, we're talking about a vision board and it's already February. Yeah, it's already February. But you want to know something interesting about that? Most people have the New Year's resolutions, right? And they have things that they have planned for the year and they start off the new year. Some people don't believe in New Year's resolutions anymore. They call them other things. Whatever the name is you have. You're right, Veronica. It's never too late. But it's so funny because about mid February, actually, is usually when we see those things that we come up with start slacking off. Can we be honest about it? Or maybe we didn't quite stick to what we said we would do, right? And then we have to reevaluate and be like, okay, how important is this really to me? And what am I really willing to do it? Is it really that important to me? That's why I honestly think that mid February is the best time because I was actually on a road trip. I could have done this on the road. I could have done this at the beginning of the year and but everyone's just so convinced at the beginning of the year that they're on top of it. They're going to get it done. They're motivated. But isn't it weird how about mid-February they're like, I don't know. How many of us does that happen to? Well, I'll tell on myself. There were a couple of things I was convinced that I'm going to get done this year, and I still will. But I wasn't intentional and did not write the vision clearly. And that's why a couple of those things that I expected to at least be making some leeway on by now have not been done. Am I the only one? Am I the only one? If we do not become intentional about some things, we're not going to get it done. So that's what we're talking about, a vision board. I mean, what's a vision board? It's really exactly. It's really what we envision for our lives for 2023. And it's really important. I'll tell you a quick little story. It was years ago. I'm retired now, and a lot of people say, "Oh man, that must be really nice." And oh yeah, you got it made. And I said, "Well, it wasn't just happenstance. Am I saying the word correctly? I was very deliberate about that. Can you believe years ago I actually wrote it down? I was very specific about the fact that I was going to join the military. And after leaving the military, I was going to go right into post office because I knew that I could continue government service. I didn't know how hard, how easy it would be. I was just determined that that's what I was going to do. And it worked out that I could retire earlier. But now I look back on it and I'm thinking, man, I should have I should have had a bigger dream. I was so specific with what I wrote down. And I carried it out to a T. And I got what I wanted. I'm not unhappy with the fact, hello, our new listeners. I'm not unhappy with the fact that I was able to accomplish that. But I realized my dream wasn't big enough. What if I had been intentional and wrote down some other things and took the steps to accomplish it? How much more could I have accomplished by now? Hello, hello. Rama, hello. I gotta tell you, it's real. Writing down and making our vision clear is a real thing. And can we honestly say we believe something that we're not even willing to write down? We might think it, but if we really write it down and say, this is what I really plan to do, then that's us putting out that we believe it. That's huge. I learned that firsthand. I just wish I had known that back then. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was writing stuff down, saying exactly what I was doing, not honestly understanding how powerful that was. And I got exactly what I asked for. And now I'm like, you dodo. You should have really dreamed big and wrote some other stuff down and carried it out. But that's why we're talking about a vision board. Because hey, we're in February. And like Veronica was saying, hello, Nadra. It's not too late, right? It's never too late. But I love the fact that by February, we have figured out that some of the stuff we promised ourselves in the beginning of January has not begun to happen. And we have to ask ourselves why. Why isn't any of this getting done? There are a myriad of reasons. Let's be honest about that. Now, we're about to get to the vision board, but there are many reasons. We have to be honest with ourselves about that. There are many reasons. It's not just, oh, I'm just busy. That's not just it. There are some things that go much deeper as to why sometimes we don't get some things done. But what I would love for those who are here, if you don't have paper and pencil or paper and pen, I'll even, that's right, Rama. Write the vision and make it plain. And I did that without even knowing what I was doing, and I got what I wanted. I'm just like, can you think about it? I did it, not even realizing what I was doing, and I got exactly what I wrote. I mean, I don't know if I should call names. I'm just saying, let me just throw this out there because we're family here, family and friends and subscribers and future subscribers. I personally know that there are many women and some men who will want to be married. And low key, some of them think, it's probably too late for me. Many of us on here know that there is a couple. They were kind of convinced that they weren't going to get married, but I know that there's a certain lady, my mother, created a vision board. That lady's married. I'm just saying. It's powerful. Need I give you any more examples? So if you don't already have paper and pen, now some people in this digital age may have a vision board on their phone. I mean, I write things down. I like to see them up on the wall, but I also put things in my organizer. I make a note on my phone. I walk around with my vision board. I like daily reminders, daily affirmations of what it is I want to accomplish and what it is I expect. That's a great thing. Write it down. You can have one at home, you can have one with you. So now, For those who have a paper and pen, now some of you may have already done a vision board. We may just be revisiting. You may want to revise something. You may want to add something, add some notes. Yes, God had you to add marriage to your vision board. Well, yes, it probably took God to get you to do that, didn't it? However, it worked. It worked. Now, we're really going to dig into some things because we're going to talk about our vision boards and we're also going to have a let's get real segment because we all have visions that we want to accomplish, but then we have to be real about a few things also. Because unless we are willing to do certain things, how are we going to accomplish it, right? So the first thing is, do you even know what it is you want? Let's start there. This is what we envision for our lives in 2023. It's like things that we desire, our wants, needs. It can be needs also. It's what you envision. Do you even know what that is? You must know what it is. Because if you don't, then how are you going to accomplish it if you have no idea what it is? So, do you know? And if you do, write it down. And for those who are okay with sharing, put it in the chat. Have you envisioned in 2023? It doesn't have to be your whole list, but something, because we're going to dig into some things this evening. Is there anything you have determined this year that you can envision for your life that you like to accomplish in 2023? Well, I was waiting to see if someone was going to put something in the chat. I'll see. Someone may want to share. Well, I can speak for me. One of the things I know I was supposed to have already started on, I've actually written a book. It's an ebook. Actually, I'll let you all know later how you can get it. You can get it on gloriaholdenscott.com/ebooks. Because I don't think we can put links in the chat, but I'll type this. Gloria Holden Scott. I don't think we can do links, so I'm going to say .com. You get what I'm doing? That's how I'm doing it. gloriaholdenscott.com/ebooks. I wrote an ebook. It's not a very long ebook. I think it's like $1.99. It's something that even when it's purchased, it goes to the nonprofit to help with all of the work that's done in the community. But there was another book I was supposed to have already started. I may have written a sentence. Why is that? There are 2 songs I was supposed to have already at least had some idea where I wanted to record them. So it's not just you. I knew that these were things I wanted to accomplish this year, but I have not taken one real step in getting those things done. You want to know why? I didn't write it down. Didn't write it down. So now I'm going to have to be deliberate. Not only write it down, but then write down the steps that it's going to take to accomplish that very thing. Hello, Sheena. Or is it Shina? You know I call you Sheena, right? Hi, sweetie. So anyone want to share? Is there anything that you want to accomplish this year? Or have you even started? Okay, tell me this. Have you started your vision board? Shauna, Thank you. Thank you, baby. Have you even started? Okay, we see here. I want to complete my 3 books. I want to get a quote from a contractor on how much the new multi-purpose center will be. Great. Hello, Valerie. And Valerie says she started. And Shauna says, yes, I wanted to add to the vision board. So if you have started, are you willing to share one of the things that's on there? And with completing the 3 books and getting a quote from the contractor, has any of that been done yet? By the way, talking to Rama. Okay. And I say all of Rama did a vision board last year. Great. Um, has anyone checked in? Has anyone been doing what's supposed to be exactly? Hmm. So we have a vision board. Yes, and Veronica says she revised hers. So we have a vision board. Well, I didn't even write those things down, which is ridiculous, which is why I'm not surprised that I have not started the process to get it done. But I have it on my vision board now. So now I know I have to break it up into steps. Because if I write the entire thing, this is just what I want to do. For me, it becomes a little daunting because saying, okay, you need to write this book. Writing a book isn't the most simple thing. It doesn't even have to be a long book. It's still a process. But if you're looking to write a book, if I put down, well, what do I want to write about? And then the next thing, write what's on your mind about that today. If I have another step, try to complete a chapter, that breaks it up into smaller pieces. And then I know at least I'm taking a step toward getting it done. So having a vision board is great, but there's still work that needs to be done. So if we break it up into smaller pieces and write it down, not just write down the overall task, but even write down the steps that it takes, because then you can look at each step and go as you and get it done as you go. So yes, Valerie says she started. So Valerie, give me one of the things that's on your vision board. Thank you, Shauna. Yeah, smaller steps. You want to put what it is you want to do, but you need smaller steps also. Because if you just say, I want to write this book, I want to record this song, I want to build this building, I want to, and with Rama, I believe that was Dr. Scott, you wanted to you finish the 3 books. I know that's a lot of work. So are we talking about chapters? Are we talking about, you know, if we break it up, it's much easier. So that's the overwhelming question. Do you even know what it is you want or envision for your life this year? That's the number one step. Do you truly know what it is? Because what you envision for you should not be based on what someone else wants for you. It has to be what you envision, because you're the one that's going to do the work to accomplish it. And I'm not saying, I mean, and this doesn't have to be browbeating work. It doesn't have to be very hard, because if we break it up into smaller pieces, we'll look up and say, well, I've gotten the majority of this done. And you'll look up and the task will be done. If we break it up into smaller pieces, it's not as difficult. So this is the thing. We have a vision, we write it down, we take the steps. But now let's get real. Are you willing to do what it is that's needed to get it done? Have you written it down yet? Let's ask that first. Have you written the steps down that it takes to accomplish what you want? Or do you even know what the steps are? Give me a thumbs up, a yes, or whatever it is. I want to know. Have you written the steps down yet? Okay, so Farrell says she wrote it but hadn't taken the steps yet. So see, many of us are saying no. Well, what did I say? There was a second book I'm supposed to have. Oh, Nadra, great. You know what the steps are, Shauna, but haven't written them down. I didn't write them down either. It's not done. And I have experienced firsthand how powerful it is to write something down, even when I didn't know what I was doing. Write it down. As a matter of fact, you should have paper and pen. Write it down right now. If you know what it is you intend to accomplish, write it down. You can do it right now. Even if you've already written down what you want, write down the steps. It's very important. It's not just going to wake up one day and the book's just going to drop in front of you. Yes, we say we need to discipline our time. Yes. And a good way to discipline our time, you'd be surprised. Dr. Scott, she doesn't know I've been doing this, but I think once I say this, she'll realize it. There are times when Dr. Scott will ask me, has this or that been done? I say, well, that's been scheduled for Wednesday. Well, that was scheduled for this day. I, in my organizer, will write a schedule of things I can do, because when we just have a whole list of things that need to be done, if we do not assign time to it, it becomes overwhelming and jumbled. And I personally do not like to be stressed for time. Most people know me. I will show up somewhere early before I rush myself to be trying to get there. I don't like being stressed for time. Now, sometimes we can't avoid it. I get it. But for the most part, I'm going to take the easiest and most easygoing way when it comes to my time, which means I am going to write down in my organizer when I want to accomplish something. So if other things are coming up, I'm like, well, I can't really do that then because that time is set aside for that. Now, because I had not done that for these two tasks, it hasn't been done. So having a vision board is great. But for the things that are important to us, it's also important to schedule that. We've always heard the time we make time for what's really important to us. But sometimes the things, our hopes and our dreams. Valerie, I'm about to talk about that in a minute. She says she's working on sticking to a budget so she can be debt free. Oh, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But we know that we make time for things that are most important to us, but many times our hopes and our dreams we put on the back burner because we're like, okay, there's so many other things that are important. My hopes and dreams, they can take a back burner because that's just folly. I used to be that person. I would put my hopes and my dreams on a back burner because I'm like, okay, that's just a luxury. That's not the most important stuff. Now I'm starting to understand that your hopes and your dreams drive you. They energize you. They help you get through the stuff that you have to do that you necessarily don't feel like doing. So your hopes and your dreams and your desires and the things you want to do have to be fed also. So you have to schedule it in. It can't just be a wish board. If it's something we envision for our lives, it can't just be a wish. Because then you just call it a wish board. It's a vision board. And it's something we put time into. right? Now, Valerie, working on sticking to a budget so I can be debt free. Let me tell you all something. I'm about to go there. Do you really want to be debt free? Let me tell you why I'm saying that. I should have been debt free 10 times over, no, 100 times over. But I mean, I know it doesn't make sense to some people, but then I was like, well, no, man, I'll just do this and that. I'll get around to that later. Now, I know that gifts and helping the poor and things like that, we are the type of people who believe in all of that, and we should definitely do it. But then there were also times when we were doing things we weren't supposed to be doing with our money. We weren't sowing in good ground. Let me put it that way. Not all the time. I wasn't all the time, right? So, do you really want to be debt free? Really, really, really? I had to ask myself. I'm like, because if you really, really wanted to be debt free, wouldn't you stick to that budget and get rid of the foolishness? So when we say sow into good ground, that means it's not on foolishness. Just saying. I, I'm the poster child. I get it. And yes, he will give you the desires of your heart. But do you really want it? It's so funny how we write things down and say what we really want. But then when it comes down to taking action, that's why February is so pivotal. Because in February, you look around and be like, okay, if I really want this, I need to be doing something. It's a wake up call. So that's what we're here to do. It's a wake up call. It's time for us to do the things we know we should be doing. Let's write it down. Let's get the vision board going. So if you've done the vision board, you know what it is your vision is for the year. So the next step is to write the steps that it takes to accomplish that. And once you have written those steps, it's time to start on the first step. I'm not saying the first step has to be done in a day. It doesn't necessarily have to be done in a week. But I mean, if you make the first step small enough, a week should do it, depending on what it is you're trying to accomplish. So let's get real. Are you willing to take the steps? Write down the steps and ask yourself. You can even write down next to the step, am I really willing to do this? A lot of us know lately, as a matter of fact, let me put this. Lately, I have been talking about some things I have been doing health wise. I want to put this in the chat first because you've probably already seen it if you're on this channel. But if not, go back and look at them again. Fulfilling your purpose. Dr. Scott has, I want to say, about 3 or 4 videos on the channel. It's under the playlist Fulfilling Your Purpose. If you listen to it, go listen to it again. There are times I just play the videos. I'll just play things. I can be going about the house and I'll just play things to be listening to it. It keeps you motivated. It reminds you each day we have a decision to make. Whatever it is you want to do. Some people want to be debt free. Some people want to be retired. Some people are like, I'm so tired of my job. I want to be retired. Okay. There are a lot of people who feel like that. So the question is, are you willing to do what it takes to come off of the job? Oh, well, you could just quit, but then if you haven't saved the money, if you don't have any investments, if you don't have your own income coming in, you might have a little issue. If you don't have any rental property to bring something in other words, if you have not prepared anything to supplement that. So there's a plan that comes into play. It doesn't have to take a very long time, by the way. But if you know what it is you really want to do is come off of a job, then you say, well, what are the steps I have to take? What would I need to do that? That's with any vision board. Write it down plainly. And then, of course, then your money and your resources would go to facilitate that so that you could accomplish that very thing. That's with anything that we envision for our lives. If we write the steps out clearly and follow through, then we can live more abundantly. Because look, none of us know what tomorrow holds. We all know that. But while we're here, shouldn't we want to live vibrantly and abundantly? Right? With dreams and desires, not just living to die, but living with enthusiasm, looking forward to the next day. I mean, what facilitates that? Being able to have the things that we envision for our lives. So anyone on here listening, anyone who's listening after the fact, anyone who's listening today, write it out. If you have not already done your vision board, write it right now. What is it do you really want? What do you really desire? And write the steps. Now, back to what I was about to say before. Lately, one of the things I had envisioned for myself, it started last year, was to be healthier. Now that was easy to put on there. I want to be more healthy. You know, that was it. Healthy. So then when I started to dig into what it took to be more healthy, the steps. Oh, well, wait, I think we got another one. What is it? 5 steps to get healthy. Something like that. It's on this YouTube channel. It's another playlist. 5 steps to get healthy. Check it out. Now, it's easy to say I wanted to get healthy. But let's get real. I had some decisions to make. I wrote the steps out and I looked at the steps and I was like, okay, I see what the steps are. Am I willing to do them? And I'm asking myself, how bad do you want to get healthier, Yolanda? How bad do you want it? It's not a mystery. The steps are right there. Are you willing to do it? And I was like, yeah, I'm willing to do it. And it paid off. I dropped like 52 pounds, guys. 52 pounds. No gimmicks. Just because I wrote down, I want to be healthy. I wrote down the steps. And I did it. It was not easy. And just a little side note, because we're talking about vision boards and what we envision for ourselves. Do not shy away from something just because it's a little difficult. I go so far now because I knew I wanted to lose weight. It's so funny. I go so far now is when I'm around the house, I'll wear something that I know I would be uncomfortable wearing out in public because I don't like the way it fits. That's what I used to do, right? I would force myself to see myself in it and be like, okay, so if you really want to be able to wear this, you need to get healthy and lose some weight. Now, I don't do this around other people. You get what I'm saying? Stuff like that. If you are uncomfortable, if you want to be a public speaker and you are uncomfortable with really speaking before people, then you need to be in front of the mirror talking to yourself all the time, getting comfortable with hearing your voice. Just do it, is basically what I'm trying to say. We need to get about the business of doing some things, get it done. I am the believer and I'm going to get it done. It's not going to always be perfect, but I'll just cultivate it as I go. But I'm going to get something accomplished. I think that's important. Keep moving forward. Live. Don't just exist. Let's live. This is what we're envisioning for 2023. To be healthy and vibrant. Now, healthy, we know, well, mentally and physically, but vibrant, meaning that we are embracing life. How do you embrace life? You have to have a vision, a dream, a desire, something that propels you forward. Write it down. It has to be important enough to write down and then dissect it. Figure out the steps. Another side note, now everybody can't do this. I don't suggest, with some tea or coffee or something at night because it's Central Time. It's about 10 minutes to 8, and I refuse to eat anything after 6 o'clock today. So I'm sipping on something. Just a side note for my fellow ladies out there. We've been on this journey trying to do better. I don't eat late at night anymore. And if I'm ever going to do that, I'm not going to. Just a little side note, but look at the videos. I'm doing things that are sometimes a little unconventional in our circles, but let's do it anyway. Let's do it. We're here to encourage each other. Just do it. So I expect to have like a treasure swap in the next couple of months. And by that, I mean, we need to be getting on here talking about what somebody has done that will inspire us. What can you substitute for bread? Okay. Honestly, anytime I eat bread, I treat it as a dessert because it turns into sugar. So I try not to eat much bread. But what I would do, I wouldn't even eat bread. Honestly, remember I said, let's get real. How about we have a get real challenge? How about for the next week, the only thing we eat is real food? How about that? Can that be on your vision board? Eat real food. Bread is not real food. What can you eat for breakfast if you can't eat bread? Well, you can have some meat and some vegetables with it. You can have some fruit. You can even cut up a small little potato to have with it. It's all real food. Bread is not real food. It's a bunch of flour with some salt and some other stuff, and then a whole bunch of other junk they put in it. At least people who make their own bread, it's still a bunch of flour and it turns into sugar, but at least it doesn't have all of the other gook that the manufacturers put in it. But yeah. So if you, I would get away from the bread and start getting the little small potatoes and cutting those up to have with your meal. Or don't they have the little cauliflower crust or something like that? I would do something but really, if you start cutting back on the bread, your body doesn't crave it as much. Oh, well, you guys, the other day, what was that, yesterday? I wanted pizza so badly. And I knew, because pizza is one of my favorite foods. And I have a video on the on the YouTube channel about that. So I went to the store, got me some zucchini, chopped it up, put a little olive oil on it, threw it in the oven for about a couple of minutes, took it back out, throw some pepperoni and some cheese on it. It was delicious. Ask the doctors, Scott. They tasted it. It was delicious. Tastes just like pizza to me. And I didn't have all of the bread. Just saying. Now, for those who are thinking, oh, that's easy for you to say, just so you know, I was a woman who woke up every morning drinking a Coke or two. I had bread every day, several times a day. And if I had coffee, I loaded it with sugar and cream. By the way, the creamer you buy in the store, so many bad oils in it. You do better putting like some whole cream at home yourself. This is going to sound crazy to some people, or just a little pat of butter. In other words, it has to be something that's real if you have to put something in there. But I drink black coffee now. That wasn't me before, but I slowly cut down. I slowly cut down on the sugar first. Then my coffee was still tasting a little too sweet. I was like, "Ooh, this is still sweet." Come to find out, the creamer is loaded with sugar. So then I started cutting down on the sugar. Yes, real food. Real food is real food. Meat, eggs, bacon, potatoes, basically anything that's in the perimeter of the store, on the outer parts of the store. The middle aisles, you usually want to stay away from, unless you're going there to buy, like today, I got some pecans. And the only candy I will eat is if it's coca, like the candy bar that's at least 85 to 90% coca, because coca is pretty good for you. It has polyphenols. Coca, very little sugar in it. But most of the things that are in the middle aisles of the store, it's not even real food. It's just, what did they call it? They put together flour, salt, sugar, and oil, and they make it into a food, and then they put some flavoring on it. Not trying to gross anybody out, but that's basically it. So yeah, so the vision board. What do you envision for yourself? I envision health, so I had to take some steps. And those steps, they cut down on pain. They give you better clarity. Now, I personally, for the vision boards, I think we need to check in at least monthly. Honestly, for some, it may take more than that, but we'll start off with monthly. Check in. But that's why, now, if you want an accountability partner, purposefultogether@gmail is our email. Purposeful together, because our channel is purposeful living, but the email is purposefultogether@gmail. For those, that are in our group and they're like, hey, this is what I like to do. Be like, well, hey, have you done anything toward that? In a month, something should be done. I know that there are several months in this year, but something should be done by then. So yes, 2023, there are some things we need to do. Write it down. Write the vision, make it plain. But then do something about it. Write down what your desires are, but then write down steps for each of those things that need to be done to get it done. And if we break it up into small pieces, then we can get somewhere and accomplish some things, because your desires and what you really want for your life are important. It's what propels you and drives you, not just the things we have to do. Right. Veronica was talking about inflammation. Let me tell you something. Anyone dealing with inflammation, I'm not a medical doctor. I can only talk to you about what I have experienced personally. Now, there are many things out here. I even heard that there's the new stuff. There's a lot of new stuff going on out here now where they say, oh, this will help you lose weight and all of that. I get it. There are diet pills. What is that? Ozempic, something they say is going around where you can take a lot of stuff. I'm not a medical doctor. I can't tell anyone what they can and cannot take, but I can tell you this: losing weight and controlling inflammation are really two different things. So losing weight helps a lot because it takes a lot of stress off of our body, but at the same time, real food is what we need. Because lots of times the fake food, the bread, the chips, what else? The cakes, the cookies, anything that's not real. It doesn't grow anywhere. At least coca is a plant, and they put a minimal amount of sugar in it. That's why that's the only candy bar I'll eat. Real food, because that's the only thing our body can really process correctly. All of the other stuff is just foreign and kicks off all types of inflammation. Exactly. Valerie is saying she's taken advice about sugar and she's noticed that joints are not aching as much. Correct. The more we cut down on the processed stuff, the better our bodies will deal with it and feel. And we are all the type of people that we understand the power of prayer and all of that. Trust me, I do. I definitely believe in all of that. But at the same time, there's something you need to do too. You're gonna be praying for something and you're going against the very thing you're praying for. That's never made sense to me. Anyway, we're gonna be ending this soon, but I want to tell you. Okay, so you're moving toward it, not completely off. No, 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 don't get me wrong. I'm not going to pretend like I never eat sugar. I was on the road and the people I was traveling with, oh my goodness, it's almost like they went out of their way to bring to me the very thing I was trying to avoid. And I'm not going to even mention it on here because it's almost like when I mention it, that's the very thing people bring to me. But there are a couple of things that are my weakness. However, because I knew I was on the road eating that stuff, I still ate within a certain amount of time. I didn't eat all day. And when I got back home, I started a mini detox again because I knew my body had that little taste of sugar in it. Even though I didn't go too far overboard, you give your body a little sugar and it's like it keeps craving it. So, yeah. Yes, we do have to work with God. If you're going to pray about something, don't put a bunch of stuff in your body and it's going against the very thing you're praying with. So, yeah, so you know what? At this point, we should check back in a month. Write down on your vision board exactly what it is. If you're trying to lose weight, eat real food. Try it for a week. Give yourself a chance because you're going to be surprised how much processed stuff we really eat. When you start saying, okay, I'm going to eat real food, you start realizing, wait, that's not food either. And that's not food. And because that was me. There were so many things I was eating that wasn't food. It was just some chemicals put together with some sugar that tastes good. So in a month, let's check back in. And you don't have to have had a lot of stuff done, but have something done. Let's get some things accomplished this year. So, yes, I'm so glad you all checked in. So, let's get real, eat real food, and let's get real about what it is we want to accomplish, what we want, and let's get real about taking the steps to get them done. Yes. Yes. Because I know I have some amazing people in my life, some very bright, intelligent, amazing people. And sometimes life just happens. But now it's time for us to reclaim what's really important to us and what's within what we envision for ourselves, and let's act on it, okay? I'm so glad you all were able to be here live, and I'm going to be excited for anyone who sees it after this. Anyone who sees it after this or who's on now, if you haven't already subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it. I think this could really inspire a lot of people. And even the two playlists that I suggested, the 5 things to get healthier and fulfilling your purpose, the videos that Dr. Scott did, play it. Even if you've heard it already, play it again. Keep yourself motivated. It's a daily thing. So like, share, subscribe. Okay, guys, it's been a great night. I'm glad you all were on with me. And yes, we are going to have accountability, and we're going to check back in a month. And if you want to send in something you want to accomplish, you can send it into purposefultogether@gmail.com. Okay, guys, you all have a great night. This has been amazing. Bye.